Mockups are not just a way to show the potential buyer what they're going to get. They're also an opportunity to brand yourself, attract new people to look at your store, and if you do the mockup right, attract the right kind of people to your store. Mockups can be used on your store itself when you're selling on the Etsy marketplace, on the Zazzle marketplace, as well as your own Fourthwall store, Shopify store, WooCommerce, Squarespace, and of course, on social media, on Instagram posts, Instagram stories, Reels, TikToks, Facebook ads, Facebook pages, Facebook groups, Pinterest, and even in your own blog when you're blogging to try to promote your print on demand. And hopefully, if you're blogging, you're also affiliating on the way, but that's a different note. I knew my ADHD is gonna get in really fast in this video. Now, the right type of mockup is gonna open the buyer's imagination. Imagining this in my house, imagining me wearing this, imagining me taking this product out with me. And the wrong kind of mockup might actually land you a sale, but that sale might get a bad review and the buyer might want their money if the mockup is not actually what the product is. So if you want to learn how to create the kind of mockups that will get more interaction on social media, get traffic to your store, and eventually lead to more sales, this is exactly the video for you. But before we get to that, I need to get one thing out of the way first, and that is, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mero and I teach creative people how to sell their art online. And these are my 12 tips on how to create really awesome mockups. I've actually spent the last 2 days gathering a lot of these tips, and not just these tips, but actually the creatives for these tips to show you them on the screen next to me, because I think that visualization is the best way to explain most of these. And the majority of the mockups that I chose are from Placeit. Now, some of them will be from Canvy, a small part of them when it comes to wall art, and some of them will also be like the basic print-on-demand provider kind of mockup to show you how you can spice it up and make it cooler. Let's just jump into the tips. With tip number 1, make sure you're actually using the right type of mockup. I know it sounds dumb to a lot of people, but yeah, you need to actually use the mockup that represents the actual product. And as much as a lot of people search Placeit by tags, for example, t-shirt mockup or hoodie mockup, did you know that you can search Placeit with the exact mockup of what you want? For example, go into Placeit and type in 3001. That's the Bella Canvas t-shirt, or 18,500 for the Gildan. I think that's the hoodie, not the sweatshirt. I think so. This is the one thing I didn't write here. But you really have to make sure that you're using the right mockup for your item. For example, if you're selling the mug that has the color inside and on the handle, that is actually called mug with colored rim, if you want to find that one. And this is really important because people look at mockups as a way to see how this product is going to look at themselves. And if you're going to have the wrong type of hoodie, the wrong type of t-shirt, then a person is going to get, they might like it. They might sort of like it and leave a review that this was sort of what they wanted. And they can also actually request it back because it doesn't actually look like the mockup. Same with tumblers of different kinds, whether they have aluminum in them or don't have aluminum in them. And for example, this bag, let's say you're selling this bag. This is the gym bag from Printful. Let's say you're selling this. Do not use this mockup, because I don't know if you noticed, but there is no edges. There are no black edges for the gym bag. This is a totally different model. So do not use this model to promote this gym bag. Or when it comes to wall art, a lot of people use the wrong size of painting or the wrong size of a framed print or a canvas print. And the reason that they do that is maybe because they don't have that dimensional view to see that it looks good. And when I say the wrong size, I mean in 2 ways. I mean the wrong ratio. So for example, if the framed wall art piece or the printable in this matter are 2:3 ratio or 3:4 ratio, and you find a 4:5 ratio and you don't really notice it, you really have to make sure that you're using the right size. And if you are doing wall art of any kind, I found that Canvy is just the place for that. Seriously, if you're going for wall art, you don't need Placeit, you need Canvy. It's a whole mockup arena with over 1,000 mockups for wall art in which you can adjust the size manually. You see a room and you go like, I want a 20x20 inch framed print on it. Then you have the option to create that on Canvy without the hassle of trying to guess what size this is. Because if someone looks at a photo that shows, oh, this is really big next to a sofa, or this is next to some kind of item that is generally known for its size, and then they get something smaller, it doesn't matter that you wrote that it's 20 by 20 inches. They're going to imagine it bigger. So make sure to always use the correct size. Moving on to number 2. Do not use sublimation mockups when it comes to embroidery items. They just don't look good. For example, this item that I have in my cow's shop, which is the Kawaii cow embroidered sweatshirt, it looks embroidered from the mockup, but if I use a different mockup, let's say this one from Placeit, it looks like it's printed. And that is not good. It's not good for the people who wanted embroidery and would look at this mockup and go like, oh, so it's not embroidery? And it's also not good for the people who would look at the mock-up when it's printed and say, oh, this is so pretty, and then get embroidery and go like, oh, it itches. I didn't want embroidery. I wanted it printed. So do not use sublimation mock-ups when it comes to embroidery items. By the way, I know that a lot of people are curious about how embroidery products with print on demand come out in real life. There was a video about that. I will leave a link to that one down below in the description. Tip number 3, make sure that your placement is correct. Now, I don't mean in terms of the product design. I don't mean like make sure that your design is not too low on a t-shirt when you upload a product, even though you should never make t-shirts that look like this. I mean, this is ridiculous. What I do mean is that you need to make sure that the placement of the design on the item looks identical to the placement of the item on Placeit or on any other mockup place. In many cases, the problem comes in from the fact that the printing area on the t-shirt, on the hoodie, on the mug is a little bit different than the available photo area on Placeit. So you actually have to play around with it a bit. And let me show you how it looks as an example. So I have this Bella 6400 with Pizza Unicorn. So this is the mock-up from designing from the platform itself. This will be my guideline on how this is going to be printed. Make sure that when you create a more interesting mock-up, you don't present it this way because the placement is a lot bigger. So if someone actually looked at this and went like, oh, I really like that, clicked on it from social media and then saw that the actual design is smaller, they might not want to buy it. They're already disappointed of you. And if someone saw this in your store and ordered it and actually got it, the design a lot smaller, they can ask for their money back because what you sold them doesn't look like the photo. I really like that Kawaii unicorn. I like this entire Kawaii set. I'm obsessed with it. Tip number 4, make sure you're using the right colors. And I know that so far my tips have been very basic, but I do know that a lot of people prefer to design a black or a white mock-up for their products because they just can't find the size. So for example, I want to create a mock-up for this t-shirt, which the official green color of it is called Kelly. This is the Bella Canvas 3001. So what I will do is I will download this mock-up and then I will manually check the color from the image using one of 2 ways. The first one is the HTML color code info website. I will leave a link to that one down below. So basically you upload that photo in and then you put the marker on wherever you want it to be, scroll down and you can see the actual color code of that green. Or if you don't want to see so many pop-up ads while you're doing this process, what you can do is that you can open a new design on Canva, take that mockup into Canva, and what I like to do is click on the background color and then the color picker and the t-shirt. That way I take the exact color from that, the actual code of the color, and when I go into Placeit to change manually the color of the t-shirt, I go to custom color and I literally put it in, and then the t-shirt comes out in the exact same color. Magic! Tip number 5 on how to create good mockups, and I like to call this tip the reason why uncreative, non-mockup user people who sell on Redbubble have really funny Instagram feeds, is consider the models that you are using in your mockups themselves. Okay, so the first example is this t-shirt that says birthday chick featuring the number 50. This is going to look ridiculous when it's on a young, it's not a high school kid, I don't know if it's a high school kid or like a college kid, but it looks ridiculous on him because he's not 50 and he's definitely not a chicklet. So maybe it will actually look much better on this woman because she actually looks like she's 50 and it matches the design. So consider the models themselves. On Placeit, it's pretty easy to find mock-ups of any gender, any age, any ethnicity. So you have a lot of models to work with when it comes to fitting your model into the design. Another thing that relates to the model that you're going to upload is the color of their hair, especially if the design talks about the color of the hair, like in this case with purple hair, don't care, which looks ridiculous on a hoodie on a blonde girl. It just looks really ridiculous. I mean, it looks really weird. It's gonna look a lot better on this girl with purple hair. I couldn't find her with a hoodie, but she has a t-shirt and it says purple hair, don't care, and she has purple hair. Now, as I was preparing this in advance, I was thinking to myself, that blonde girl with that hoodie. I know that purple hair don't care doesn't fit her, but she has this attitude and I am loving it. And that's why she will be a great fit for blonde hair, don't care, with this color of a hoodie. This is one of the tricks that I really like to do with the hair color, and I think that a lot of people are also attracted to different hair colors, and it really grabs your attention more than just a normal mock-up. By the way, if you like this video so far or found this content useful, please hit the like button down below, because every time you do that, believe it or not, it really does help my channel. And subscribe for more cool tutorials on how to design, how to market, where to sell, and product reviews that will be coming up more and more in the next few days. Moving on to tip number 6, which is to match the mockup to the niche, whether it's the topic or an activity. So let's start with a few examples. I think it's like the most obvious example to go with. Well, if you make a dog mom t-shirt, it's much nicer when the woman has a dog next to her. Unless the dog is wrong, like if you have a specific dog breed on the t-shirt and it doesn't come with a dog next to her, don't do that. Now, you'll find that Placeit has a lot of mock-ups with animals, a lot of mock-ups with cats, dogs, horses. They have mock-ups with horses, and I actually even found 4 mock-ups that have a cow in them. By the way, for those of you who somehow reach this video and don't know me, hi, my name is May and I'm obsessed with cows. I literally have a whole print-on-demand shop just for cows. So let's talk about, in this context of matching the topic or the niche or the activity to the mockup, with mugs. Let's say I want to create a really cool design for coffee lovers. This is probably not going to be a really good mockup for that. It doesn't scream coffee. This, however, does, and it will be much better. Other things that I found that could be really cute, let's say I make a design that relates to country music or country living, I can put it on a cowboy. Those were so cute. I think they also have cowgirls. And a woman jogging. Great idea for design with some kind of motivational quote or some kind of, not motivational quote, but more like, work on the life you want. That's like an active motivational quote. Or one of those designs like, I'm not sleeping, I'm meditating. I think I had it in my old Redbubble store with a sloth. I hope I will find it, on a woman who's currently meditating. How about design for pregnant women? Well, get it on an actual pregnant woman mock-up. I think that's like a given. I do not understand how someone can sell a t-shirt of a pregnant woman by showing it on not a pregnant person. That just looks weird to me. You have mock-ups of people wearing sweatshirts while ice skating. You have mock-ups of people doing pretty much anything from skateboarding to basketball. So many people doing so many things. I actually found a bunch of people doing a selfie. Like there are mock-ups of people doing a selfie, and I thought it would be really cool if there was one of those inspirational quote of "be your best self today," or the affirmation designs would really look good on these people taking a selfie. Some other ideas for this t-shirt for this girl: my big sis is graduating, or I found that to be so adorable, guitar player in training. I thought that will be cool. Or my dad is the best radio station, or something like that. Moving on to tip number 7, and we're talking holidays. Okay, make sure that the surroundings of the mock-up fit the holiday. Now, for example, this cow design t-shirt is for St. Patrick's Day, was for St. Patrick's Day, and this is how it looks on TeePublic. It looks very different on my cow's shop. It's a mock-up of a woman in St. Patrick's Day, so it fits the background. Let's talk Easter. So many things for Easter. You have kids holding Easter eggs. You have a woman with bunny ears and a mug surrounded by Easter decor. So there is a lot to work with when it comes to Easter, and the time to promote for Easter for a lot of people is over. But I found that out when I was making the trending videos. So if I'm not mistaken, Easter is at the end of this month, and the Easter Monday is at the beginning of April. But the Orthodox Easter is the 3rd till the 6th of May. And I know that because I'm going to be in Greece during that time and it's going to be Easter. I hope not everything will be closed. I was talking to the restaurant of the the rooms that I'm going to, so at least the restaurant's going to be open. But yeah, there are 2 Easters, so maybe it's not so late for the Orthodox one, but hey, maybe you're watching this next year. Let's talk Halloween. Spooky man wearing a t-shirt. That looks a lot cooler. This one, and yes, I'm putting in videos here because videos are a big thing are a big thing on Placeit, and there are a lot of video mock-ups that you can use for social media. This man looks like a mummy. So it's a really good opportunity to sell a t-shirt for Halloween, one of those funny t-shirts for men, and it's actually a full costume idea. The way that you're presenting this design is actually giving people a full costume idea, which is really, really cool. That's the feeling they're going to get. Oh, this is my costume. It's not, this is a t-shirt that I'm going to wear to Halloween. It's like, oh, this is my costume. And also something funny, they have men with pumpkin heads, which I find to be like very creative, very unique, and definitely attracts people's attention during Halloween. Last but not least, I'm going to finish the 7th holiday tips with Christmas anything. You have mugs surrounded in a Christmas setting, wrapping paper, the products that go for this specific holiday. You have baby onesies with the baby around a Christmas tree, and even something really funny, someone who's going to spend Christmas on a beach. I don't know. They just have they have a lot of Christmas mock-ups. It's insane. Moving on to tip number 8, which is to think of the overall look. Whether it comes to something like the OOTD, for those of you who have been in the fashion blogging industry, or the look of the room. So when I'm saying OOTD, I mean outfit of the day. And this is kind of like the hashtag outfit of the day, hashtag OOTD, which you can use on social media as well. But this is a way that bloggers are promoting everything that they have on. So like they're going out and like, I'm promoting these pants and this t-shirt and these shoes and this handbag. So the outfit of the day look is important for the overall thing. And I've shown this in the Canva photo tricks video that I did. So let's take this woman. She has a pink and black design on her. So what if the denim color would be pink? It would look much better. Her outfit looks much better. And again, I was showing how to do this trick on Canva on the Canva tricks video. There will be a link to that down below and a link to that at the end of this video as well. Same goes for home decor. I mean, let's look at this boring mock-up of a bed cover versus the entire bedroom. Like the entire bed, the bed cover with pillows. Whether you're selling these pillows or just changing the color of them, you can take these multiple products into one thing and think about the overall look of the image and of the room. Now, when it comes to wall art, again, I mentioned Canvy at the beginning. So think about this. Let's say I'm selling a print that has a white frame. It's going to look really bad on a white wall, but I can actually play around with the color of the wall over on Canvy to make it look much, much better. And the biggest mistake of them all when it comes to wall art, I remember this from several years ago when I was doing private consulting for Etsy sellers, and I've had several customers with the same problem. They were creating amazing wall art for nurseries, presenting them like this. That doesn't really look like a nursery. Doesn't that design look better in an actual nursery? So consider the entire look of the photo and make sure that it fits. Tip number 9, got a boring mock-up? Make something special from it. And here are some ideas. This blanket, the simple mock-up, this blanket on a chair, I wanted to create the main featured image for that for my cow's shop, so I made it into this. I actually took like an element from the design itself and placed it on the sofa and added text. So the actual mockup now looks a lot more interesting from the boring thing. I was literally showing how I did that step by step in the Kawaii design tutorial. Now, let's talk about what Sivan is doing in her Ice Queen style store. So this boring mock-up of this bra, I mean boring because it's the only one and you're always going to get this one. So what she did with it is that she put it in front of an icy background, which fits her niche. She actually does that with the majority of her products, and that creates this like kind of branding, and it fits the niche. You can also take just a mock-up of a mug and add some shadow into it and put some interesting background pattern that matches the design. So for example, this Kawaii strawberry mug, I can make a mock-up of that mug, whether it's for social media or for my website, by basically taking that mug from TeePublic, this one is on TeePublic, adding shadow to it, and placing it on a faded background of strawberries. And that could look kind of dope. Moving on to tip number 10, which is combining items within the same mockup. So for one example, this is the all over print hoodie, 2 mockups that were generated by the system for my Fourthwall Cows shop. So I just placed them together in one and created this mockup, and it looks a lot cuter. Now, when it comes to these combinations, it's important to see where you're placing them. So for example, it does fit that I have these two with those hoodies because this is a unisex hoodie and it fits everybody. But I'm not going to get a woman wearing a hoodie and a man with a t-shirt to be the main photo of a hoodie design, because where is the t-shirt? Are they getting a set? This is more for social media and for other efforts, even like your shop banners and blogging and stuff like that. If you want to create, for example, a photo for a blog post that contains multiple products in them. And there are multiple combinations that already come within Placeit. So for example, this woman is wearing a t-shirt, but you can also design the tumbler. These 2 graduates, one of them is wearing a Print on Demand t-shirt and the other one is holding a mug that you can design. Or this family with 3 t-shirts and 2 mugs between them, that will be an amazing photo to then go like, oh, these are the links of the individual items that we have. Now, before we get to the last 2 tips, I would like to just note here, for those of you who don't know, if you don't have a Placeit account and you want to get a Placeit account, well, I really recommend doing it. They have really cool mockups. We haven't even seen the half of it, especially with their video mockups, which are amazing. And if you want to get it with a little bit of a discount, there is a link down below in the description for 15% discount on Placeit for our community members. And that 15% is for your first billing. So if you take the monthly plan, the first month is going to be discounted by 15%. And if you take the yearly plan, the entire first year is going to be discounted with 15%. Moving on to our last 2 tips, which let's start with tip number 11. Consider the motion in the design. There is something about seeing someone that smiles at you that stops you. And when I mean stops you, I mean stops you from scrolling. When you're scrolling like on Instagram or on Pinterest, when someone looks at you, if they create eye contact, you look at them back. And that's what we want to do in the mockup. There need to be some kind of flow, some kind of motion, some kind of activity, something that will make you look at this photo and go like, oh, wait, what is that? For example, this goth woman with her hair, it kind of looks like there was a fan open on her hair. She looks really, really, really good. Or for example, let's talk about pillows. There are these pillow mockups, which are static, and they're sitting there, and they're very nice, and they create the vibe and the atmosphere. But in some cases, and in social media, I might use this mockup because it kind of grabs your attention more. It's like someone presenting you with a pillow. It's a lot more attention grabbing than just a pillow lying in there. Even this notebook, like this meditating yoga cow. I remember when I was scrolling down Placeit looking at notebook mockups, and I saw this guy, and I was like, I wonder what he's thinking. What is he going to write in his notebook? And the fact that it made me stop is why I used it, especially for a meditation, like a thinking notebook. And I feel like maybe that's the best way if you want to go about mockups. Just literally type in the topic and scroll really fast and then see what grabs you. Because if it grabbed you and you are from your niche, it's going to grab other people as well. And last but not least, tip number 12, think creatively when creating mockups and get better at finding those creative options, whether it's creating those creative options or finding them on Placeit, on Canva, on Kittl, on Canvy, on Mockup Mark, on I don't even know. They're making so many mockups these days. And when I say creative, I mean something like animated cartoon style mockups. These are brilliant. These are really cute. I'm not going to put them as the main mockup for a design as is. I mean, I'm not going to just use this and ignore the regular how this t-shirt looks mockup, but these look kind of cool. And these can grab people's attention, especially if that's the niche that you're marketing to. Let's talk about ghost mockups. I literally had to stop and I was like, oh wow, I like this. I like the ghost mockups. I think that they're really, really cool. I think that they're really cool. Placeit also has these like color combinations, people with emotion in it. It kind of looks like the early 2000s and the late 90s. I feel like it's very nostalgic for me, and it's a great way if you want to market to millennials to use these kinds of designs, because this like looks like MTV for us. And for those of you who don't know what MTV is, wow. And if you're too young to know what MTV is, I love the millennials' childhood. I loved growing up in the 90s. Also, if you've seen the Trends video that was recently uploaded, you know that I found a pillow fight mockup on Placeit. And I think that they look much better than just using the same boring mockups again and again and again. Because no one's clicking on them anymore. Seriously. No one. I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below on what you thought was the best tip out of my 12 tips for creating cool mockups, as well as where are you getting your mockups from? Are you getting them from your supplier? Are you getting them from Kittl, from Canva, from Placeit, from Mockup Mark, from Canvy, from other places? Seriously, if you got other places, let me know, because I want to explore more on places to create mockup other than Placeit or other than Canva. Just, I like knowing these things. It's kind of my job. Now, I have mentioned the Kawaii video, the Kawaii design tutorial a lot in this video, and I was also using a lot of the Kawaii designs. So I will leave a link to that somewhere on the screen, as well as the one with the Canva photo effects, because I think it really relates to these mockups and creating them better. Like, for example, how I switched that woman's pants from blue into pink. Those two will be somehow here on the screen in a few seconds or already now. I don't know. But with that being said, that was it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. And as usual, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!